Uh, kind of want to give you guys just a little version of sometimes of what my day looks like, how I kind of get things going, and what I do for time management. First things first, I got to have my coffee in the morning. Right now, I'm doing the Javalia brand with International Delights Coffee Creamer, uh, the Guatemalan flavor of the Javalia coffee, and I have sweet cream from International Delights. And this is kind of like my everyday staple, that I've got to have some coffee in the morning. But another thing that I also like to do is to run my diffuser. And this morning I've got eucalyptus going, and for some reason when I turn that diffuser on, it just kind of gives the house just a cleaner smell, and just a more refreshing, uplifting smell to the house. Um, my office is right next to the master bedroom, so I can, smell it, and it comes into the office, and at least for me, it helps a lot. Um, but we want to go into some time management skills, and one of the things that I really think that will help with time management is to have some kind of appointment book. I used to carry an appointment book. That was before the days of the smartphone and being able to get your email on your phone. So I guess I'm kind of telling my age a little bit. But have some kind of scheduling and appointment book. Every morning, that's one of the first things that I do. Once I wake up and I thank God for waking me up and I spend my time with Him, the next thing that I do is I look at my phone and see what is on my calendar for today. Normally, when I put appointments on my calendar, I usually give myself at least a 24 to 48-hour reminder. Sometimes, just depending upon when it is and what time of day it is, I can give myself a 15 to 30-minute reminder throughout the day, especially if I'm already going to be out. Um, you can't remember everything, and as an entrepreneur, especially if your company is service oriented like mine is, you can't afford to miss anything. And forgetting appointments or forgetting to get back with clients, that is a really big no-no. So just make sure that you kind of keep those kinds of things in mind. The next thing, as far as time management is concerned, I'm going to kind of sip my coffee right quick. Mm, that's delicious. Oh, that's so good. But anyway, and I'm going to lose a lot of people on this one, and I already know. So I'm kind of giving my disclaimer first. But keep your thoughts, your actions, and your conversations to those things that's going to help produce results. Okay? Keep your thoughts, your activities, and your conversations purposed to those things that's going to help produce results. I think that's why a lot of times time management with some people is not so great, because you're all over the place throughout the day. And then at the end of the day, you see that you've accomplished nothing. Um, you know, you're going to get into a little bit more about social media. But it doesn't matter what Johnny did yesterday or what Susie Q is planning on doing tomorrow. Not when you are trying to get things done, not when you are trying to meet deadlines and things of that nature. All that other stuff can wait. But during the course of your day, you have to stay on task, and you have to do those things, have those conversations that's going to help you to actually produce some results. The next thing is that throughout the course of your day, you are going to get pulled away. Okay, the phone is going to ring, and a lot of times I have clients that need fires put out, so sometimes you're going to get off task, but it is up to you to get back on task, to get back to what it is that you need to do. And you have to say, okay, well, in the course of my day, I know that I might get pulled away, and you will. As your clientele grows, and as your services continue to evolve, You are going to have clients that, you're going to have to hold their hand just a little bit more than other clients. And that's just the way that it is. You'll have grown men and grown women that really need your attention. And one thing that I have learned is that you have to make your clients feel as though they're the only clients that you have. And you might have, 10 deadlines that you have to meet that day, but you have to let your clients know that you're there for them, that what concerns them concerns you. Okay, so just know that you're gonna get pulled away from doing what you're doing. You need to expect it, and you need to allot for that when you're trying to map out your day. That you're gonna have, those types of things that's gonna happen. Is just the way that it is. Um, when you first get up and you're kind of, getting that coffee together and, doing the little things that you need to do, you really need to take a good 30 minutes and say, okay, what is it that I'm going to do today? What is my calendar saying? What do I need to do to get these goals met? Okay, so if you take out a good 30 minutes out of your morning and kind of go over your day and what you need to have done. And sometimes I even say, look, between 9 and 9:30, I'm doing this. Between 10 and 11, I'm doing that. And try your best to stick to that. And like I said, you have to, make those concessions for when you're going to be pulled away. Okay, but always get back on task. And then, do you even know what your goals are for the day? What is it that you're trying to do for today? What is it that you need to accomplish? And y'all, that is just so important that you don't wake up all willy-nilly and say, okay, now what am I going to do? A lot of times I map that out the night before. It just depends on how tired I am, how late I was up doing what I needed to do. I'll get that mapped out the night before, but first 30 minutes of your day, you can get that done as well. And it is okay to put out a do not disturb sign, especially when you're trying to get stuff done, you know. And what I mean by that is, when I first started, see, stuff going off now. But when I first started in business, when the phone rang, oh, I had to immediately answer the phone to find out what was going on. Or if I saw an email come through, I had to immediately answer that email. And now I get to the point where I just sit back. And if I'm in the middle of something, the phone can ring. And if I'm in the middle of something, that email can wait. Now, I'm not saying to ignore your clients. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that if it's a client that aggravates you, you will have those. What I'm saying is it's okay to not answer the phone right away. That's why there's voicemail. Another thing that I also want to kind of put into your cap is this. At one point, when I would have customers call me and I couldn't get to them right away, I would go through the entire phone list, my caller ID, and try to call back everybody that called, only to find out that 75% of those calls, they really didn't want anything. So I've wasted my time scrolling through trying to call back every missed call that I had. So now I've incorporated in my day, if you call, if you need me to get back in contact with you regarding whatever the issue is, leave a message. If you don't leave a voicemail, then that means you don't want a return call. And I had to incorporate that, within my day. Because I mean, that was, I look back on some of those things that I used to do, and that was totally a waste of time and not very good time management skills. So, what I'm saying to you is, I'm not saying to ignore the phone call, and I'm not saying to ignore the email. All I'm saying is that it doesn't have to have a quick response. Okay? Give them, 30 minutes, you can call them back. An hour, you can call them back, especially if you're in the middle of meeting a deadline. And sometimes I can't get back to my clients until the next day. At least have a 24-hour turnaround time set within what it is that you're doing. Okay. I don't do that all the time, but there are times when, I got to do that 24-hour thing with them because I just can't at the moment. I make sure though that I listen to all of my voicemail. That's one thing that I do. If I see that I've got voicemail, I try to do my voicemail at least twice a day, at lunch and before I close down at the end of the day. Okay, so at lunch, I can catch everyone that called that morning, and then by the end of the day, I can catch everybody that called that afternoon, and then I can make sure that I do those return calls first thing in the morning. Okay, and if my day permits me to look at my voicemail, more than that, then I do. But I definitely, have to make time to do that. But it just depends on how your day is going. So again, it is okay to let the phone ring, and it is okay to not immediately answer email. Don't ignore your clients, but keep going, doing what you need to do, because the most important thing is you cannot give good service, good quality service to your clients if you are not practicing time management. You have to practice time management, okay? Otherwise, you're not going to get anything done, and that's not good for anybody, okay? Another thing that I found out is that during the day, while I'm working and while I'm trying to get things done and, other things, I have to turn Facebook off. I have to turn notifications off, okay? Now, on the flip side of that, I have gotten so many new clients from Facebook, so many new clients from LinkedIn, Instagram. So social media works for business when you want it to work. But I mean, come on, y'all. Not everybody uses Facebook for business. I mean, I don't even use it solely for business. But during the day when I'm trying to get stuff done, I get on Facebook and I get off. I might put something, in the morning, with my coffee, because y'all know me and my coffee, this is my friend right here, so I've started collecting coffee mugs, and that might not be something that you're interested in, but it's something that kind of gives me a little joy, especially when I've purchased a new cup. So I might get on and do something like that, post something to Instagram, and, I've got my hashtags working for me, and things like that. But that takes 2 seconds to do. It doesn't take a whole hour to do that, because then you start reading other posts and then you start getting involved in other things that's going on. So you got to hit it and quit it when it comes down to social media, because that can definitely be a very big distraction in your day, and then you won't get anything done. That's the thing. You have got to have a productive day. When you are in business and then people are paying you money to do something, then you have to produce those results. And when you start getting to the point where you're having, more than one client, and everything is kind of getting due at the same time, you know, you you can't get to everything. And that's my last point, that it is virtually impossible to do everything. It doesn't matter how well you try to organize your day. You're going to have those distractions. You're going to have those fires that you have to put out. So you cannot beat yourself up if you did not do everything. And that was something else that I used to do early on. That if I had stuff that was due, and if that meant that I was up until 10, 11, 12 o'clock, I was doing that. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I'm still doing that. But I was doing that on a regular basis. And then you're going to wear yourself out, and then you're not taking care of you, and then your company suffers. You're not taking care of you, and then your business suffers. One thing that I have to say is that I've gotten such a rapport with my customers, with my clients, that if they don't hear from me, and it's been 3, 4, 5 days, they know something is up, because they know that that is not my normal mode of how I operate. There was a time when I had to have surgery. And so I was kind of MIA for a minute. But my clients know how I operate. So, when I was able to kind of get back to them, um, it was, oh, I knew something was wrong because I know you don't usually do that. Um, but at the same time, I'm hoping that this kind of, helped you guys out some, because you have to have time management throughout your day. Otherwise, you are just going to be moving stacks from one side of your desk to the other side of your desk, and you've accomplished nothing. Okay. Um, so try to use, just a few of these little tips that I'm telling you about. And just know that once you put your best foot forward, when it comes down to business ownership, and it comes down to, wanting to do the best for your clients, just know that make a plan for your day, and you try your best to stick to that plan, but also allowing yourself that time when those unexpected things do come up. All right. So, one other nugget: mind your business and let others tend to theirs. All right. Y'all be good. Talk with you later.